Welcome to the show, viewers. This episode is to bring happiness and fulfillment to everyone. And with me here in the studio is an African-born Australian who has been in the entertainment industry for a long time, and today he's here to entertain us today. Here we go. Let's chat with Tichawona. Well, why did you choose to become like a cultural, traditional music player?
My background is I come from a small town called Bulawayo, which is in a country called Zimbabwe. And growing up, I was surrounded. My brothers, older brothers, played music, and I got to play. So one time I was invited to play in the church, and they said, "Wow, you guys are fantastic musicians." They gave us guitars and said, just learn. Those days, few people could afford, to buy instruments.
So that is when your music career started, is it?
That is when.
Do you have an album?
Oh yes, I have. I have two. Actually, this one is Mbira album.
Okay, Zimbabwe, what does that mean?
Zimbabwe, it means a big Mbira. Zim for Zimbabwe, or Mbira, or Z, big Mbira.
Oh, okay. The Mbira, does it have a meaning?
The Mbira is an ancient instrument.
Oh, okay.
It's found in all over Africa. But I think Zimbabwe is got the largest repertoire, and it's the mainstream instrument there.
Do you teach people how to play music?
Oh yes, I'm teaching a lot of people how to play music. I teach in schools, I teach in aged care, I perform conduct workshops with disadvantaged people, and perform in festivals as well as conduct workshops. Corporate as well as in social and community gatherings.
Oh, how often do you get invitation to perform? Like, do you usually get a lot of invitation for you to go and perform somewhere? How often do you get that?
Well, I'm performing almost every week.
Okay.
It's either I perform in the African community, which I've really had a background of traveling around Africa. I've traveled most east, west, North Africa, 10 African countries I've lived in. And when I come to Australia and I relate to the communities, I find that, they invite me to perform despite not being from their communities. Because the African communities don't normally mix that much in terms of but I feel very lucky to be invited in the different communities and to continue.
Your instrument is not what we normally see all the time.
No.
So can you show me or just let me know what it is? What's the name of this instrument and where do they originate from?
This instrument originates from Zimbabwe. It's called the Mbira. Although various versions are found all over Africa, I believe it is the African representative instrument because it falls under different names in different countries. And it's generally made from, it's got a wooden board with metal springs attached. And when you strike the strings, they vibrate.
With like the thumb? Yeah.
With your thumb. It's classified under the lamella group of instruments or xylophones. And when we play this instrument, it is actually an instrument that speaks to our ancestors and helps us to connect with the world outside.
Can you take it one after the other and just play? Just,
okay, so this
instrument
is made from recycled materials.
Okay.
So it's mainly forks and spoons in our days.
Okay.
So if you support this instrument, you're actually supporting recycling.
Okay.
So I'll play you one of my songs, which is called Kedush. This also features on the Echoes CD. You can hear it in Virgin Airlines as you are flying out and about.
Okay. You want to hear your music? Let's play.
Vanona ikoko ku Zimbabwe. Batume. Kedush. Kedush.
Excellent. That is so beautiful. Do you play by yourself or sometimes you play in a group?
My performance varies. Sometimes it's as a solo performer, sometimes it's as a duo with my partner, or at other times it's with my band, which varies from 3-piece to a 5-piece electric band. But all the music is built around the Mbiras.
I learned you in the university studying music. Why this time? I know you've been here for a very long time. Why are you studying music at this time?
At this time, because I've had a privilege of, not whilst traveling in Africa, I've actually had an experience of culture firsthand, and I've also, learned a lot of history. And I actually realized that it wasn't just about the music for me, it was actually about the pursuit of history. So engaging in studies at this moment has given me opportunities to advance in studies in terms of research in relation of music and culture, and as well as access to archival and professional tutorialship.
Okay, so what famous musician do you admire?
I've admired, I have a lot of favorites. My genre is world music, and so I've had so many idols. In West Africa, which I really loved, I really admire Salif Keita, and I admire, Baba Mal, and there's also, I know music right across, all the way from Central Africa, Franco, and Southern Africa, Thomas Mafumo, and Brenda Fassie. It's and I'm always learning new world music from different parts of the world.
So, Tichawona, what brought you to Australia?
Initially, I was working on a 7-part documentary series called 7 Days in Africa. And this documentary series was documenting alternative culture in 7 African countries throughout the continent. So I came here for the post-production and editing of the films. And when I came to Australia, I stayed for 2 years and had such a beautiful connection with people and a lot of opportunities to start a life here.
So how many years have you been in Australia?
So it's been 10 years altogether.
Okay, so you came here and after 2 years you went back to Africa?
Yes, after 2 years I met a lovely lady here, so I decided to get married, and I quit my job at that stage and went back and came back with a different visa.
So how do you balance your music and your other obligations? You are married and you have children and you are studying as well. How do you juggle with all of that?
Well, how I do it is, my study and performance is one and the same thing. I have 3 days of study, and then I have the other days which I can. I work for Access Arts, which is an organization, providing community services throughout Queensland. And I also do, a residency through Queensland Arts, doing African drumming on Thursday, Friday. I do 4 schools a week.
How do you do it?
Well,
because you're a very busy man, so how do you do all that? How do you put all of them together?
Well, at this stage, I've cut out a bit on my night performances, so I'm earning most of my money in the daytime now. So that gives me time to, see my family in the evenings, and it's still fairly busy, with the study. It is a challenge, but I managed to make a timetable. And
you've been in Australia for a very long time. I just want to know where this music is heading towards. So what is the long term for all this music? Where is it heading towards? Let's say in the next 5-10 years, where is all this music heading towards?
Well, the Mbira, being an instrument of spirit and healing, has always appealed and fascinated many people in Australia, and it always has a place. As for me, as my career, since I arrived in Australia, I've been doing gigs through multicultural organizations, as well as teaching and performing in universities invite me a lot. So I see myself being as a teacher when I graduate.
Okay, teaching music.
Teaching music, okay. As well
so
as...
is that the main reason why you have to retrain? Is that what it is? For you to become a music teacher? Is that why you are going to the university?
Yes, for me to work in as a formal teacher, although I'm already teaching, without the, I feel that I want to try and go a step up. Yes.
You want to teach in school?
I want to have the option to teach in schools, and if I go to a new place, I want to be employable as a teacher, as well as continue my performances.
Thank you very much. I did enjoy myself, and I believe you also enjoyed yourself. If you want to listen to more of his music, you have to check him out on Facebook. He's on Facebook as Tichawona Noble Mashawa. So please check him out. For more shows, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You have to like our page on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I will see you again next time. My name is Nanekria. Bye.